Top of the top, y'all, it's your boy Show tapping in with another YouTube drop. But unfortunately, this time, this video is not about how much money I made from a deal. It's about how much money I lost on a deal. So you read the caption right. Me and my wife were just scammed out of $70,000 on a real estate transaction. For the first time, I was taking off my wholesaling hat, putting on my actual investor hat. Me and my wife had not fully decided if we were going to turn this property into a rental or if we were going to fix and flip it. We were pretty sure we were going to fix and flip it because we stood to make $70,000+ on the deal, but instead we lost that 70 grand. And I'm gonna tell y'all exactly how that happened. All right, we did everything right on our end, but I mean, man, this is just one of those crazy stories that people don't believe until they see it. And so I just had to break this down for y'all, man. Real estate can be very lucrative, but you have to understand you are also taking chances with every deal that you do. We took a chance on this. It bit us in the ass, but we are not discouraged. We back out there already looking for our next deal to fix and flip or turn into a rental together. Again, this did not happen with me and my partner in our wholesaling business, even though my wholesaling business did source this deal. And so me and my partner ultimately sold the deal to me and my wife. And so the wholesaling business made money, and me and my wife were planning on making a lot of racks from this deal, but it didn't go that way. So tap in, I'm gonna tell y'all exactly how this shit happened, man. Y'all ain't gonna believe it. All right, so that's right. You did read the caption right. We were scammed out of $70,000 on our first investor transaction in real estate. All right, so let me explain exactly how this happened, guys. All right, so I run some marketing, some inbound marketing where leads call us to sell their property. All right, so this was that same situation. A lead called us. She said, hey, I have this property, I'm looking to sell it. She gave me a story about how she had a nonprofit organization with her husband, and that this property had a tenant in there that was just giving them a really hard time, and they just wanted to liquidate this property, get rid of it. They wanted to sell it at a really low price so they can get it done fast. I mean, this is like a dream phone call. You know, I look for these type of people all day, every day. So when she called me, man, my eyes lit up like a light bulb. I'm like, man, this is gonna be a killer deal. I knew from the first phone call, all right? So this was for a property in Oak Cliff, 75216 zip code to be exact. This was a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, 1,300 square feet. So we definitely could have added another bathroom. The house wasn't in horrible condition, but definitely needed to be fixed up. If you're familiar with properties in the area, or if you're not, the after repair value, meaning what we could have sold this for on the market once we were done fixing it up, was $212,000, guys. All right, so remember that number. The ARV was 212. When she called, she asked for $70,000 for the property. Even at that price, it's a steal. But I had to negotiate it, so I came back with 60. She said they wouldn't take anything less than, the assessed value, and they actually did take less than the assessed value. So either way, we ended up agreeing to $68,000 for the property, guys. All right, so the purchase price is $68,000. The after repair value is $212. So that gives us over $130,000 in space to make a large profit. We were super excited about this deal. All right, so the first problem happened. One, she let me know that they wanted to get rid of it, but there was a tenant in the property. All right. She said she didn't want to go through the eviction process. It had been a headache for them. She just wanted to get rid of it. You know, I completely understand, especially with COVID going on, with the moratorium going on, however you say it, where, people couldn't be forced out of their homes if they were tenants, even if they weren't paying rent. So a lot of landlords were discouraged and just wanted to get out of these properties. I thought she was one of those people. And so, we decided to take on that headache for ourselves. I actually met up with this lady, the seller, we'll call her the seller. I actually met up with the seller at the subject property. She called me to meet her at the property because she had called the police on the tenants there because they were non-responsive and she was trying to force them out, all right? She was illegally going about the eviction process, but she was still taking action. I met her at the property, actually looked her in the eyes, shook this lady's hand, talked about the deal, everything, you know what I mean? So anyway, that day, the tenant was there. She ended up getting the locks changed, talking to them about sending them to eviction court, blah, blah, blah. I told her at first we were not willing to buy the property with the tenants in there. So she did take the step to go to eviction court. A couple days after eviction court, I called her. I said, hey, seller, what happened at eviction court? You know, what's the status? Give me an update because we're 1 week away from the closing date on this property. She told me that eviction court got dismissed without prejudice because she didn't have her LLC documents on hand to show that she owned the property. Okay, no problem. So I tell her, go back to eviction court, get your LLC docs. It sounds like a problem that can be easily resolved and go back. Well, she told me that for whatever reason, they just didn't want to go through the process again. Eviction court only costs $140 to file and go to court. And in Dallas, they're doing those in like 2 weeks. So if you file for eviction right now, you can go to court in 2 weeks and have your hearing. So, I mean, it's a quick process right now because they have lifted the moratorium. But regardless, she didn't want to go through it. She didn't want to do it again. So me, as an entrepreneur, I came at her and said, hey, you know what? We will take on the headache of the tenants if you give us a price reduction. Like I said before, we were already at a killer price, but I got to be me. So I said, you know what? We'll take on the headache if you give us a price reduction. She agreed. We went back and forth. They ended up giving us a $5,000 reduction. So now our purchase price is at $63,000, guys. But the deal is we have to purchase this property with the tenants in place, whatever. We went ahead, we did that. We went to closing. I actually saw her at the title company. I saw this lady again on the day we signed for the property. So me and my wife signed for the property. We stuck with the purchase price of $63,000. But since my wholesaling company sourced this deal, I wholesaled the property to me and my wife's company. And so my wholesaling business made $5,000 out of the deal. So that $5,000 plus the $63,000 purchase price brought us up to $68,000. So me and my wife purchased the property at $68,000, but my other business got a $5,000 assignment fee, all right? And then obviously we paid closing costs, which put us a little over $70,000 on the overall purchase price of the property. Now, yes, we did get a hard money loan. So they paid the $63,000, the other about $9,000 in closing costs, including the assignment fee, came out of me and my wife's pocket. So we paid $9,000. The lender paid $63,000, so we in at about $72,000, all right? After we closed, I did go down to the county, file for eviction to go to court, all right? So I paid another $140 there. And so we had that date scheduled. I go to the property. Actually, before I filed for eviction, I went up to the property, to try to talk with the tenant there and ask her, I know the last seller tried to evict you. I don't want to do that. I would prefer to give you some cash to help you move along, get you relocated. What can I do to help you so we can work together? Because I don't want to force you out of this house you've been living in. She was completely irate. She did not want to talk to me. All I heard was, fuck you, get off my property. You don't own this property. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm like, listen, I do own this property. I just closed on it a couple days ago. She said, well, show me your paperwork. Obviously, I didn't have the paperwork. I wasn't planning on showing that to her. I just came, to see if we could work together and I could help her out in the situation so she would not have to get evicted. And she just went on and on about the lady I had bought the property from. She told me she was a crook. This was a Ponzi scheme. I didn't own the property. That lady didn't own the property. She went on and on and on into detail, but I had no idea what she was talking about. I'm like, listen, I don't know the seller personally. I don't know if she's a crook. All I know is I went through title. I purchased this property. The money has been paid. I have the paperwork to show that. That's all I know. And she said, you know what? You can't give me a damn thing to move out of this house. I don't want no money from you. Take me back to court. So I had no choice. I went and filed for eviction, was going to take her to court. A week later, I get a Facebook message from her lawyer. Her lawyer says, hey, this is so-and-so. It's my understanding that you have approached my client and tried to give her money to move out of this house. And I just want to let you know that the lady who sold you this property was arrested. Her and her husband were arrested yesterday on real estate fraud. They are in jail. And unless you want to go to jail as well, you need to leave my client alone. I explained to her as well, look, I don't know anything about them going to jail. I don't know if that's true. I don't know who you are. Honestly, you didn't call me. You hit me on Facebook. So that was kind of weird on an attorney standpoint. But I mean, she was pretty much saying everything that the tenant said. All I know is we done spent this money for the property. We going to eviction court. That's what I told her. She said, you know what? I'll see you there. So boom, that was the end of that. I go to the gym the same day. I get a phone call from a detective from the Lancaster Police Department. He tells me, Mr. Howard, I have bad news for you. I said, what's going on? He says, well, the lady who sold you the property, her and her husband were arrested last night. We raided their property and we found 10 fake deeds that they had put in their name, properties they did not own. I was blown away. He told me I had to come in immediately to make a statement or tell them how I came in contact with this lady to purchase the property because they thought I was part of the Ponzi scheme. So, I mean, I'm completely taken back. But of course, I go down to the police station. They explained to me that this lady and her husband, there was a guy who passed away recently in February. A guy passed away in February. He had 10 properties, all right? The seller had a friend who lived in one of those properties. And he was upset because the family was going to kick him out of the property. Obviously, since the owner was deceased, he could no longer deal with him, the landlord he had been dealing with. The family was inheriting these properties and they were going to kick him out. But he had been there for so long, he thought he had the right to purchase and own the property. So the seller told him, don't worry. The seller who sold to me told that guy, don't worry, we'll take care of it. So somehow they finessed a fake deed, got it through at the county, signed, and the property was deeded over to them. They got away with it that first time and decided, you know what? This guy owns 10 properties. Let's do this to all his properties and then sell them. And so they did. They deeded over all of his properties from their name, from his name to their name. And the property that me and my wife bought was the first one they tried to sell, all right? So there was already an investigation going on with these people because they had deeded over these properties where the guy who deceased actually had a will in place and the family was going through probate court to see exactly who would inherit the property. So they did all of this while there was actually an open court case, with the family to decide who owns the properties. And ultimately, that's how all of the police investigation started. The friend that they helped to get the property in his name, the police started there, investigated him, and he spilled all the beans. He completely moved out of the property, got all his stuff out, vacated, went to the police station, and spilled all the beans on them. They started building the investigation, and just so happens for me, I was the first person she contacted to buy one of these properties, and we bought it. And so the police thought they wanted to know, how did I know her? How did I meet her? I told them that she called me from my marketing channel. She offered to sell the house to me, gave them the full breakdown. And man, they thought it was funny because what's messed up is this lady gave us a 4-star review after the transaction instead of 5 because she had to pay the taxes on the house and we didn't pay the taxes for her, which is in our purchase and sale agreement. So it wasn't a surprise, but she was complaining about having to pay the taxes for a house she done stole. It be your own people, man. But regardless, we talked it out with the police. And, we got cleared. Now, they understand that I am a victim. I am not a suspect. So we got that cleared up. Happy about that. Obviously canceled the eviction court. I need to apologize to the tenant, for coming to her. And she told me it was a Ponzi scheme. I just thought she was a crazy old lady. But yeah, so now let's get to the money. All right. Again, I said the after repair value was 212. We bought the property at 68,000. It was going to need about 40,000 worth of work. All right. So let's say we bought it for 70. We put in 40,000. We were at 110,000. All right. With interest from our loan, we may have paid with interest from our loan, insurance, things like that. With all repairs, we might have been all in at about 120,000. All right. Remember, I said we could sell this for 212. So that's $92,000, guys, that we could have got on our first flip. We were so looking forward to that. We were going to kill it. 100 racks on one deal, man. So, I mean, we were looking forward to that. When I got that call, it completely devastated me. I'm like, damn, we was looking forward to this 100 racks and just going through this process, our first flip, you know. But yeah, we got set back. Instead, they took the property from us. It's no longer ours. It's obviously not the lady who sold it to me. She's in jail, gonna be in jail. And the police actually told me that this story would come out on the news, so I should look out for it. I might be in the story. So I mean, real estate game is crazy. I say that all the time, guys. Real estate game is crazy. You never know what you're gonna get. You just have to be consistent, be persistent, and just do all you can, to do business right, to do good business. And so obviously, since we went through a title company, we did buy title insurance, guys, all right? So remember, if you're doing real estate and you're buying properties for yourself, you don't need title insurance if you're wholesaling. That's on your buyers to get. But if you're buying properties, always get title insurance. You cannot see things like this coming, and title insurance insures your buy, all right? So yes, we're out of the money right now, but because we have title insurance, we did file a claim. Title insurance will reimburse the money to our lender, that they put up. But until that is resolved, we do still have to pay the interest on that loan while it's still there. Until that is resolved, that's like $1,300 a month that we'll be paying on top of the $9,000 we're already out. So title insurance will pay back the lender, but we are having to fight them to give us our closing costs back, guys. So we still may be out of $10,000 even after the insurance covers this. All right. So when you're doing real estate transactions, get title insurance. Make sure you know to get enough title insurance for incidentals, not just enough that's going to cover the loan. Because what if we would have put $40,000 into rehab in this house, and our title insurance is only for $63,000? Like, will we have been out of the $40,000? I really don't know yet, guys, because we're still going through this process. It's still fresh. And so I'm going to give you guys a part 2 update once we get all our money back, hopefully. If not, I'll let you guys know exactly how much we lost and what we'll do next time, what steps we'll take next time to make sure we're 100% covered so you guys can have that game as well. But there you have it. Real estate game is crazy. I want y'all to tap in, but I want y'all to be careful, all right? We just got scammed out of $70,000, but you know what? Who gives a damn? We going back in. We already looking for our next property, all right? And all we're gonna do next time is up the title insurance. So if we lose, it'll cover everything, all right? So there y'all have it, man. We got scammed out of $70,000, but it is what it is. Real estate game crazy, but I love it. Tap in.